They set my boat on fire and called the cops to arrest me for using my own lake. But what they didn't know, I actually own the entire lakefront. When the truth came out, let's just say the HOA president wasn't yelling anymore. Let's dip in. I moved to the lakefront for peace. That's all I wanted, a calm morning paddle, the sound of birds, maybe even coffee on the dock. I had recently purchased a stunning lakefront home after years of saving, and finally, I had my little slice of heaven. But that dream turned into a nightmare the moment I met Nancy, the HOA president. Blonde, bossy, and holding a clipboard like it was a weapon, Nancy marched onto my dock just 2 days after I moved in. "You can't have a paddleboat tied here," she barked. I blinked. "Why not? It's my dock. My boat. This is a shared lake," she hissed. And HOA rules strictly forbid personal watercraft left unattended. You should have read the manual. Manual? I bought a home, not joined the military. Fast forward a week. I went out for groceries. When I returned, smoke was rising from the lake. At first, I thought it was a forest fire, but as I rushed closer, my heart dropped. My paddleboat was in flames. Right there, in the middle of the lake, floating and burning. I screamed. I yelled for help. But the real shock came when I saw Nancy standing with 2 HOA board members, smiling. I grabbed my phone to call the fire department, but before I could dial, police sirens wailed in the distance. You guessed it, they called the cops. On me. He was burning illegal property, Nancy told the officers, fake tears in her eyes. He's a danger to the community. The officer turned to me. "Sir, step away from the fire. We need to question you." That's when I realized this wasn't just a dispute over a boat. This was war. Here's what Nancy didn't know. I wasn't just some guy who bought a house on the lake. I was the guy who bought the lake. You see, when I purchased the property, I also acquired a private ownership deed to the entire 2.3-mile lakefront stretch, including the dock, the water rights, and the land the HOA believed they controlled. I hadn't mentioned it before because I didn't think it mattered. But now, it was time to pull out the receipts. I invited the officer inside and calmly laid out the deed, the legal maps, and the notarized documents showing my full ownership. I even had the county clerk on speed dial. The officer's eyebrows shot up. "Wait, you own this whole shoreline?" I nodded, including the part Nancy and her friends have been trespassing on. The officer walked back out to Nancy, who was already on a rant about wild behavior, lake pollution, and how I was ruining the neighborhood vibe. He held up his hand to stop her. "Ma'am, you're going to want to stop talking." Nancy blinked. "Excuse me? Not only is this man not breaking any laws, he owns the entire lakefront, including this dock and the water around it. You and your board are the ones at risk of trespassing." Her face turned sheet white, but it got better. I filed a report for arson and false police report filing. The police opened an investigation into the fire and asked the HOA members to appear for questioning. Nancy tried to protest, but her smug smirk was gone. By the next week, half the HOA board had resigned. A few quietly apologized to me. Nancy? She tried to threaten me with lawsuits. Let's just say her lawyer backed out the second I forwarded the deed and security footage. Now, my paddleboat is back, brand new, bright red, and proudly floating near my dock. The HOA? Quiet as mice. They've even sent out a new newsletter acknowledging the importance of respecting property boundaries. I still see Nancy sometimes, usually walking her dog with her head down. She won't look me in the eye. Can't say I blame her. I didn't move to the lake to fight. But if someone thinks they can bully me off my own property, they're in for a rude awakening. And the best part? Every time I paddle out into the calm, glassy water, I remember that justice doesn't always come with sirens. Sometimes it comes with a deed, a smile, and a paddleboat that refuses to sink.